One of the interesting things we can learn from the World Council for Churches is this whole history towards church unity. And this is very important in many other contexts and for many other churches, because the challenge for us today, as we become more sensitive to contextualization, but at the same time to the need of consensus building, is that tension. How do we manage that tension between unity and diversity? Of course, the World Council of Churches has been the champion of unity and has been an important voice around the world in that regard. But not just that, the World Council of Churches has been the voice that in many particular contexts came to express solidarity, support, also bringing expertise in exchange that has allowed particular contexts not to be limited to themselves, but to open up to the world, learn from others, share experiences, and also realize that we have many things in common. Not only the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be Christian, but also some experiences that may have worked in different locations that can be adapted and replicated in other places and regions. So what we see that is an interesting role, an important role for the WCC, the World Council of Churches, is precisely to help us learn from each other, connect those different pieces from different parts of the world, and serve as a kind of repository of those experiences, a kind of a hub or where we can go and learn from that can also document not only historically all that has been happening throughout the 20th century, now into the 21st century, but also pointing towards the future. One of the interesting things we learned in a meeting in Korea, when we met with some interesting former leaders that have been accompanying this process, especially in a context like Korea, that has experienced so many changes, from being a country oppressed by military dictatorships and then emerging as a powerhouse in terms of economy and all this. We learned from them that despite all the lament, all the maybe the historical failures or the disillusion with all that has happened throughout history, the idea of the dream of ecumenical unity kept them alive, kept them going. So as a matter of fact, it was an inspiration coming from different contexts and meeting in Korea to see that idea continues to drive them, including influencing the possibility of one day having the Korean Peninsula living in peace, where we are not be concerned anymore about North and South, but a people united. So if we can unite two people based on this idea of peace and Christian unity and hope, I think we can export and we can learn from that experience across the world. When we talk about unity, questions emerge, concerns emerge, doubts emerge. Is this possible? Especially in a world today that seems so polarized. You go to different countries like in the United States or in Brazil, Argentina, the Philippines, Hungary. These are countries where we experience a lot of political polarization. And sometimes that polarization is expressed also in terms of religious beliefs, in terms of Christian practices, in terms of ecumenical dialogue and so on. It's interesting, one of our friends from Eastern Europe was sharing with us how a legacy of history that comes from the Ottoman Empire and then the Soviet Union is still plagues, it still influences places like Bosnia and Serbia and other places. So we need to learn how can we aspire to unity despite all those divisions that plague us today, that influence the polarization we experience today. Well, if we look back in history, we have had some moments of unity, of conciliarity, and one of the greatest examples is Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea, that maybe is the first big experience that we have that brought the church together. And it was so powerful, so important that to this day we recite the outcome of that, the consensus of that gathering. And now we have in 2025 an opportunity to celebrate almost 2 millennia of that experience, of that, and see how that can inspire us again. So I hope that we take this opportunity to really celebrate, to really study, to really understand what that means, and to really explore how we can use this opportunity to start talking about unity in a different framework, so that this hope, this model of consensus building, arriving to unity, can help us move beyond the polarization that characterizes our societies, our countries, and even our churches. So I hope we take advantage of the Nicaea year 2025.